Hello and welcome to Steve's Backyard Bonsai. It is a windy, blustery day today, but quite warm. It's 55 degrees out there right now, which is unbelievable. But we are expecting a really windy rainstorm later on in the day. I thought I wanted to take today to do what I had promised to do. These are the trees I hope to put in a Penjing if I can get the canopies to grow. I started them in a seed tray. These are Japanese Zelkova, seeds I collected in a parking lot of Lowe's, not far away from here. And they grew very well. Regrettably, I put 2 in a pot and I have 3 pots in here. So there are 6 of these trees that I want to get into pond baskets, and I'm hoping to do that today. So that's what I'm going to concentrate on. Let me set up the camera for that and let's get going. So these trees are 5 years old. I planted them in 2020 and transferred them into this pot. So they've been in this pot for 4 years. Now I want to drastically reduce the root system, which, as you can see, is way down to the bottom of the pot. So let me get started combing this out and we'll see what's in here. I'll speed this up once I get to the roots. And I just reminded myself that I'm going to need a bucket to wash these in, so I'll get that set up too. It's in a combination of old bonsai soil and potting soil that I had lying around. This is going to take some work, so let me speed through it. And I'll come back when it's bare rooted and separated. Well, that was a job and a half, getting these roots separated. And when I say regrettably that they were in 2 in a pot like that, also regrettably that I didn't take them out of that pot for 4 more years. These roots are horrible. But I think what I want to do is try and develop a root system here that is okay. These, I would say, are not okay. And these might be the best of the bunch. Remember, I've got 4 more trees to do. Look at this. So, where would be the root plane on this? Would I bury this whole thing? I got to take off quite a bit of that taproot. Oh, these are awful. Okay, so this could be a lesson in more than just repotting. This is a lesson in what not to do. And I've got a lot of those. But that's the idea of this channel. There are things that I've learned since I've been doing this that I would never do now, that I did willy-nilly before. So let's see if I can figure out a way to salvage these 2 trees, and then I'll do the other ones in fast motion. All right, I'm going to start with the obvious. which is this root here. I'm using my old dull tool, but it'll work. This root here. That simplifies things a little bit. I have a root here that goes down and curves back around in more than a 90-degree angle. Actually, it's less than a 90-degree angle, isn't it? So I'm going to cut that right where it turns. I've got a lot of crossing roots that I don't know what I can do with. If I uncross them or take them off, I'm going to be affecting the health of this tree. And right now, that's the last thing I want to do. So that same root has this that I could probably work with. And there's a piece that goes straight down that I'll take off. And I'm going to shorten these. Find feeder roots. Nothing has awakened on this tree yet. And because of the way it grew like that, I may keep this root and have it be above ground. And just hoping that when I take it out of the pond baskets, I will have helped it in some way. Here's a root that grows back around that I'll take off. Cut that large piece shorter. And what to do about this? All right, since this is the first time, actually I did cut that taproot when I put it in, right there, but it needs more. So, how about that? There's some roots that are growing straight down. This one crosses around that one, but it's got a lot attached to it. I don't think I can live with that anyway. All right, I think that's all I want to do to this root system right now. Maybe shorten that, and maybe further shorten this one. Everything else is pretty flexible. And this is going to go back outside. This is the first time it's come in all winter, so it doesn't have any buds popping yet. Well, that's pretty awful, isn't it? Well, we'll see what we can do with it. Maybe nothing. I'll stick this in the water and I'll work on the other one. This is equally as bad, but maybe a little more salvageable. If you remember, what I said I wanted to do with these trees is make them street trees, which the intuitive thing would have been to make sure they're straight and that the roots were radial. don't believe I'm going to have that ability. Take that high root off. Take this high root off. These little wispy roots here that are going to be in the way. And now, ugly as it is, I have a root plane. This one is unfortunate. Is anything coming off of that? There's a root below it, but this is feeding a lot of this tree. And this just crosses, I mean, it should be coming out at this angle, and it's pushed way over to that side. Just going to do some trimming. Here's where it hit the edge of the pot and went straight down. I'm going to cut this way short. Same here. This root's growing straight down, but it has a little root here that looks pretty healthy, and one here. I'm going to cut it just below that root. Cut this a little shorter. It's still pretty terrible, this one. You know, far from an ideal root system, that's for sure. But we'll see what I can turn it into over time. This is ridiculous, huh? Oh man. Here we go again. This is going to seem like way over potting, and it is. But it's really all I can do. I want to save these trees. I'm putting a rather thick layer of pumice on the bottom. This pumice was oversized when I bought it, so it's good for this, but it really didn't turn out to be very good for my bonsai soil. Let me get a bigger spoon. That's just to bring the level up a little bit. All right, let me get some bonsai soil on there. And that's about the height that I'm going to want. Of course, I've got to fill in around that, but let's start there. Okay. I want you to be able to see this. I'm kind of looking down on it now, and I'm going to spread those roots out as much as possible. Straighten the tree in the pot. As good as I can. And the rest is going to be up to the tree. You can bury it a little bit deeper to try and develop a little more roots where I want them. And this may not look too bad when all is said and done. Now, if I can develop a canopy on that and the tree stays alive, I'm home free. That's not that bad, the way it's buried. Let's get those roots growing. Come on, baby. All right, I'll pot up the next one. Take a look at that. Oh my God. If this isn't a case of do as I say, not as I do, I don't know what is. If you think that's bad, look at this one. Everything crosses. Yeah. Big mistake leaving it in the pot for 4 years and growing two together. I had a real hard time to pull these two apart. So let me get started on pruning these roots, and then I'll pot these two up, put them outside. All right, I've got that one trimmed back, I think, as far as I dare. And I'll try and develop better roots from that. I mean, it's interesting, but it's not what I intended. And here are the last two. Let's start combing this one out. The last bunch, or the last two I did, those root systems were pitiful. Hopefully I'll have a little bit better luck here. The first one actually didn't turn out that bad, the first two. But the last two were god-awful. And I'm hoping, look, about to get an oak tree. I'll speed this up and we'll come back and look at them. All right, not to be outdone, these two are just as horrible as the others. Look at this one. Is that disgusting? I'm just going to try and develop these roots as best I can. I probably won't be able to do much with them, but the trees themselves, we'll see. There'll be something. Everybody's got trees they don't know what to do with. I thought I knew what to do with these, but I could be wrong. All right, I'm going to start pruning these up. Same way I did before, trying to get some sort of root base. This is horrible. I don't know what I'm going to do with that. But in the end, I've got to have something. So here I go. It's quite windy, so I hope you can hear me. Here are the 6 Japanese Zelkova, individually potted in pond baskets to develop these roots into something better than they are. It's supposed to rain really hard I watered them, but soon they'll be getting a deluge, which is great. All right, thank you for keeping me company in my backyard.